I'm a killer, like the loud, I'm kamikaze. Salute the chief, the click deep like astrology. Rebuke the meek.
Hey, welcome to the first segment of Break It Down, the first full segment of Break It Down. On our show, the Pro Quo Show that I do with Professor Lyrical every Friday night at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, we had a section in a segment that we put in there called Break It Down. And that's why I entered the video with the same clip. This is the full version. What you got on the show was more of an abridged version, and we're still, in the works. And essentially what I'm going to do is I'm going to break down a full verse for you in this clip, because this is really designed for people that care about where I'm coming from and want to learn more about how I write, my writing style, my philosophy around what I write. I do try to keep it surface and conversational for people. But the complexity of it can be lost in translation, so who better to translate it for you than me? So after I do all this, I'll play the verse and everything. I'm gonna go through the every line and tell you where I was coming from. But the verse starts off with saying, "You create your own fate." See, now to me, this is taking control of the supernatural solely based off of the actions that I take. And as much as this bar is a statement, it really is in its depths a question as well, multiple questions actually. The path that you're walking, are you walking at with faith and belief, or are you walking it with fear and doubt? And that's why I chose fate instead of destiny, just from the supernatural aspect of it. And that's that first bar. Second bar I say is, remind myself I'm only good as what my tapes be, right? So my tapes, this just is really just pointing out action and results. I'm only as good as my word. That's the a biblical phrase really, and being your best version, right? So I'm gonna try to be my best version. I'm only as good as what you guys are gonna receive on these tapes. So I'm gonna do it as perfectly as I can. And tying into that, next bar is, been rhyming over rhythms for a while. It's one take, B. Now, of course, that may seem a little egotistical, but reality is, this is based off of these actions I'm talking about, and emceeing my verse has become like second nature to me. It's equivalent, it's the same effort of having a conversation, and reality is, once you start exceeding 10,000 hours in a specific craft, that puts you into a master league. So at 10,000, move it forward, you know what I mean? But get to the 10,000 and then you can get to that level. So that's what that bar represents. Now, dialing up the FaceTime, the purest MC, that's the next bar. And, this is what kind of reality sets in and brings it to the present for me. You know what I mean? And it's like, who am I surrounding myself with in this new virtual world that's really just been created, more or less was created overnight? And is it with authentic people, or are you with cosmetic people? You know what I mean? The real and the fake. And you put that word MC in there, and that's my craft. So that can be replaced with anything in life, reality. And the finite meaning of the bar is actually relative to everyone I spoke with during this pandemic about the instant brotherhood theory, and I dropped that on them, you know what I mean? So that's what that bar represents. Now, I'm wilding over here, surviving presidency, right? Wilding over here, surviving presidency. Next bar. Surviving presidency has a huge area of trails that you could take in your mind and opinions and all that stuff. But what I did is I stepped away from all that, and I'm saying like, I'm basing this off of surviving through any president. Because reality is, some winters are long, cold, tough. Some aren't as bad as the last, you know what I mean? So it's always going to be there. Winter is winter, bottom line. So surviving through that is the most important thing, and that's points back at yourself, not anybody else, no matter who they are. And then lifestyle changes off of things we can't see. That's the follow-up to what? Obviously, the forefront and surface level of this bar is COVID, right? But the hidden message is the lifestyle. I personally had so many changes for the better that I recognized months later and into this whole deal. And I just had a higher level of appreciation for like my family, health, creative aspects of life. And, that's really what I'm focusing in on when I was creating that bar, was the lifestyle, and off of things we can't see, that little tiny virus that under a microscope only, you know what I mean? But put yourself under that and analyze it every once in a while is a good thing. Now, next bar is you all covered up, I'm unclothed, all free. And reality is, as the mask came on, they came off like simultaneously, figuratively speaking, right? We seen the real in us all because of this situation. And, you know, I seen families, you know, a lot of divorces, the divorce rates went up, like all that kind of stuff. You know what I mean? Like people were like, wow, when they started had a quarantine and be home and all that, things started popping off. And what I noticed, most importantly, referencing this bar, is that a lot of cats, these high level entertainers, were using their smartphone devices, their laptops, computers, to stay in the game. You know what I mean? So it was like the playing field leveled out. You know, so that's what created the inspiration behind that bar. All right, so on to the next bar. I say 9-1 the current lead. My son's the energy. Now I wrote my first rhyme in 91. I don't have it, unfortunately, but I know that was the year. And from that point forward, I never looked back. And without the faith that I had, I would have never had any of this, and it wouldn't have been possible without that faith. So that's my strength, you know, like the sun. So that's where the sun comes in. S-U-N, right? As you can see how I wrote it. And then I lead into the next bar. Physical flaws testify the best breed. This sounds like nothingness, but reality is this is deep. Physical flaws, right? When we think about that, the physical flaw of everybody is that we are son of man. S-O-N, of man. Now, you give voice, testify. You say something, you can either have meaning or not. But in my case, I'm saying I'm giving some meaning with this and give myself the power with these words to create change. And the best breed, what? That's the evolution of a man. When a man can evolve, that's the ultimate breed. So to me, I really love that line. And I know some people was asking me about it and they got confused, but that's what that is. That's what that means to me. Next line is intervals, pause, time to keep it OG. And kind of another one of those bars. It's like, what are you talking about? And when we think about intervals, right, that's time, right? OG, time. So to me, it's like, wisdom, OG, teaches us that time either controls you or you control it. Period. And that's what that bar means. My next bar is say, my essence too deep, no sleep, too identical, forgot unique, lost sight of the general. Might be 2 bars in one, but that's what I'm going to cover. So we are at war with ourselves or we're not. And we're fighting to become more or we're not. Now, for those people that do fight for something greater, they separate themselves from the pack in the majority, right? And those majority that done quit and they lost their uniqueness, they lost the grip on their gift. You know what I'm saying? Like the gift that was given to them, they lost it. So they're like duplicates. And that's the colony of the clones, really, you know, the colony of the lost. And they can't see the path that God laid. And it's unfortunate, but that's the reality of the situation. So again, my essence too deep, no sleep, working, staying up because I'm trying to fix myself so I can be original and be different. You know what I mean? So that I like that bar too. That's a real dope bar. Now, a follow up to that is you hear Cruz and go to church all week. So when I hear or say Cruz, yes, God given to me, of course, my name, you know what I'm saying, on the birth certificate, all that. But I'm just reminded of the power of faith and the responsibility I have to use it for good. You know, hip hop a lot of times is looked upon as a negative thing, and I want to be the polar opposite of that, whether I cuss or not, which people, as we move forward, you will see these cusses disappear because I'm actually believing in that a little differently, especially speaking to my mentor, Pro. So that's that bar. Then I kind of follow up into rain fire over each one of these beats, no cheat, right? So rain fire to me is the devil, and the devil lives in us all. And since you can't cheat the devil, of sin especially, you know, I'm going to win by blessing this music. And that's what I mean by that bar. Simple. And the hip hop election here. It's time for people to start decide whether you brothers or and sisters with Cruz or not. Simple. Again, you know, I'm not telling you to choose a side, but that's what that really means. Yo, pick a side. You gonna vote for Cruz or you not? You know what I'm saying? In this hip hop election. And then lastly, I ended with Pro told me that my lyrics like the best of years. Say cheers. And that's just to remind y'all that Professor Lyrical gave me that cosign. And he is the upper echelon of purebred lyricism to me, or, you know, as a lyricist, and hence the name Professor Lyrical, aside from the doctorate and all that. And this cosign came off of the strength of that instant brotherhood philosophy that we talked about. And, you know, really after I had that conversation with him, he was like the last one I talked to it about. I came up with the verse. I'm like, yo, man, this is what it's going to be. And then months later, we decided to create this project together. But yeah, that's the whole thing. And I'm going to play it out for y'all so you can hear it too and get a sneak peek of it. Still in the works, but it's all good. We like to unveil and show you the process, and that's why I'm especially doing this. And this is really, again, designed for people that like to break stuff down. They're thinkers, and, you know, maybe want to get more intimate with Cruz on a mental level. You know what I mean? But peace out. Appreciate y'all tuning in. There will be more of these. One love, y'all. Yo, what's up? Instant brotherhood. People stop believing in that kind of thing, though. You know what I mean? You create your own fate, see. Remind myself I'm only good as what my tapes be. Been rhyming over rhythms for a while, it's one take beat. Dialing up the FaceTime, the purest MC. Wildin' over here, surviving presidency. Lifestyle changes off of things we can't see. You all covered up, I'm unclothed, all free. Now I wanna come relieve my son's the energy. Physical flaws testify the best breed. Intervals pause, time to keep it OG. My essence too deep, no sleep, too identical. Forgot unique, lost sight of the general. You hear Cruz and go to church all week. Rain fire over each one of these beats, no cheat. Hip hop election here. Pro told me that my lyrics like the best of years. Say cheers.